Okay, so a question comes in. Hello. First, how is everyone doing? I hope all of you are doing well and have been well. I hope you're kicking off your summer um, in a positive way. Um, and I hope everyone is in good health and doing well. With that being said, me and my friend and moderator, Paris, we were having a conversation earlier today, and it was, we were talking about personal life experiences when it comes to dolls. We were talking about dolls and family, how they react. And a lot of friends and family, they have different thoughts and opinions when it comes to dolls in general, and people who collect them, such as myself. Um, I don't collect dolls because I am a collector. They just sort of built up as a coping mechanism. And so that's how my journey with dolls started from childhood. I do have viewer discretion advised. This video is not meant for people under age. This is not a video nor topic that is for people who are what we call faint at heart or very sensitive. So, again, this is live. And with that being said, you may continue viewing and listening at your own discretion. So, with me being diagnosed with major depressive disorder and chronic anxiety, and the medications I take for that. But before I got to those diagnoses with that, when I was a little girl, I loved dolls. My parents are very strict. My father, very strict. And to give you a more bigger idea of his strictness, my father is 100% full Republican, always has been, always will be. So, with that being said, it gives you an idea of strictness that can go into the household um, of having a father who is Republican. And what I mean by that is that, they're more focused on you getting education. They're not really focused on you if you have anxiety issues. With me, my anxiety started in elementary school. I would get anxiety just waiting for the school bus to come pick me up in the morning. And I remember practicing on Sundays, um, watching out the window, waiting to see the top of that school bus come up the hill to that stop sign. And I remember when it would actually happen, I'd see it. My heart would start pounding, it would start racing, and I had nothing to comfort me at that time. Um, mm, so it was really difficult. So my mom, well, my parents, they would always get letters from the school. I always got notes sent to my parents or letters. I talked too much in class, and I distracted in class. I was distracting other students. I had ADHD, and we didn't know it at that time. That was before I got diagnosed with ADHD as a child. And so I couldn't focus on the teacher because well, she was boring. And this was third grade. And the only thing I found interesting about her class is at the end of the class, she would read a book. She was reading a book. And that was the only thing I would be quiet and pay attention to. Otherwise, when she was teaching, it was like, oh my God, numbers, numbers. I couldn't focus. And then at the end of class, when the bell rang, my heart would be racing like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it to the bus on time. I'm going to be left behind. I'm not going to, I would be thinking this as a kid. And then it was like when you got on the bus, you wanted to get a seat where no one's going to bother you. You don't want no one to sit with you. That's how I was. And this is before I had Barbie. So my journey started with Barbie. Um, Loved the hair, the size, everything. And when it got to the point where my doctors were sending letters to my parents, they had to sign it, of course. My father really just didn't want to get involved at all. My Mama was always there. Mama was always involved. My mom went to school. They had a conference. They wanted to talk to my parents about my behavior in class, not paying attention, talking to other kids around me, um, you know, not focusing, not paying attention, and failing. And it was, gosh, I remember my dad was so angry. He took off his belt. He wanted to punish me, you know. So I don't know what happened with counselor at school, but they talked with my parents, said I needed to see a doctor. So my mom took me to the local health departments, explained to them, and so they went to evaluation. I was only 7 years old at this time, and small town, country town. I grew up in Littleton, North Carolina. Um, that's the majority of where my relatives on my father's side of the family are. God, the town is so small. Everyone's related to everyone. I don't care what the last names are. Everyone's related. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows your family, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, because they all grew up together. Even like with sheriffs, court people, all of that. Everyone knows everyone. And everyone knows everyone's business. And so, me going through therapy, I think my father had a problem with that. He did not participate. My mother was the only one who took me. And all I wanted was Barbie. My mom, I had dolls. I had like baby dolls. And for those of you who are familiar with me, my content, I do not like bald headed dolls. Uh, I never liked baby dolls. I always liked fashion dolls with hair. I wanted to play with the hair. And I love stuffed animals. And so I'm laughing because I remember when my mom got me my first body baby doll. Okay, no, it wasn't my first. She got me one that um, it would, you could feed it, give it water, it would poop and pee and wear a diaper. But I never put a diaper on it. I filled it with water, and then I would squish the belly and make it shoot water on. And I did that to my dad. Anyway, he got rid of the doll after that because I made my dog pee on him. Okay, anyway, moving along. Um, so I would go to therapy every Wednesday in elementary school. And I remember having lunch in solitude because everyone else had done had their lunch. By the time I got back from seeing a counselor or a therapist, um, I would have to have lunch to myself. So then I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I don't know, they just didn't talk about it, not in front of me. So growing up, when I became a teenager, my parents' divorce and all of that, and the drama that went with it was quite traumatic. Um, the things, my mother and father's relationship. When I say father, I'm talking about my biological father, not my stepfather, who actually stepped up to the plate and was there for me and my brother as children. I'm speaking about my biological blood father. And, when him and mom divorced, he just disappeared. And that was very hard on me. My brother, it didn't appear to bother him as much, but my anxiety really elevated to where I couldn't function. I would be like in seventh and eighth grade, and I would cry in class and things like that. By then, I had bought my first Barbie doll, which wasn't Barbie, it was one of her friends. And I actually put her in my backpack, in the side part of my backpack. So I'd have my backpack beside my chair in class. And when I would have anxiety, my heart would start racing. It felt like I couldn't breathe. So if you suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, that anxiety and panic attacks, they really go hand in hand with each other. They really do. And so I would reach in my bag when I felt overwhelmed in class, and I would just touch my Barbie's hair or her head, and then I would just close my eyes and breathe. And my friend Paris, my moderator, she always talks about the peanuts. Her and Doreen from These Cabby Stars and Toys, they talk about peanuts, and I didn't know what that was, but it's Charlie Brown. And so I watched a few episodes here on YouTube, and that person goes wah 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 wah. Well, that's what it was like for me when I was. That's what it was like for me hearing the teacher talk. It was like they were just going wah 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 wah. I just couldn't focus. It just became harder with my parents' separation. It was traumatic. Um, it was very hard to deal with. When I say that because, well, my dad has guns, and this is why I have viewer discretion at the beginning of this video. Um, and he had them loaded. He had shotguns. Mostly everyone in the Littleton, they have the rifles, and they go deer hunting and things like that. Sport for wild game. And he pulled one out on my mom, and it really did something to me. It's still triggering to this day. Um, so my mom, that's why she left him. We had to leave. It was very violent. It was horrific, and I couldn't. That's why I didn't focus. After that, and then we left. Everything became new. My mom left the home with us, and we moved to a different area. We moved to a different home, and trying to make that into a home, it was just like you go through that experience, and then when you're in therapy, or you talk to someone, at that time, at that age, I did not know how to put that into words. I didn't know how to express the fear, the trauma of that to my doctor. So I didn't talk about it. I'm nothing like I am now. Now, God, you can't make me shut up. But at that time, it was just so much trauma and fear that I just had no words to express what I was feeling. And that's how I started getting more into Barbie. I remember, I think when I was, I was 13. Um, my mom originally was from the city. And I remember when I would do my homework on the bus, and I passed. My homework was always great. Pretty much most of it I did good grades. In class, around other kids, I couldn't focus. My attention was just, I was living inside my head, going over events that had already happened, reliving it in the classroom, or focusing on just being home away from everyone. And so that was why I started taking my Barbie doll in my backpack. It was an emotional comfort. It was my doctor says that my dolls are my coping mechanism for anxiety and depression. Now I remind you, now as an adult, I've been hospitalized many times. Um, Nothing recent. For attempted suicide. the anxiety and depression was so overbearing, overwhelming situations living through. It was like I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't take it. And so the the fifth major time, I was actually live on Facebook. At that time, I probably had about 5,000 followers on Facebook, and I did it live. And I was hospital. I remember I barely remember anything because I was just taking things with wine until I collapsed. And again, this is viewer discretion. This is not for children. This is not for sensitive people. This is me telling you my story, how I got into dolls. I don't consider myself a collector. My dolls are my coping mechanisms that help me with my illnesses. I have what we call the unseen illnesses because you don't see them. They're hidden and until it's visually noticeable. But I haven't been this way for quite a few years. Dealing with depression, but really working really, really hard on understanding my diagnosis, being open and honest with my doctors to improve myself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Um, Talking about this is a little more difficult than I expected. My back is breaking out in sweat. But I attempted to take my life live in front of thousands of people on Facebook. Um, People called from all over. I think this was around 2015 or 16. And I don't know, I was escorted by police to the ambulance. They didn't let anyone near me. My mother, no one near me. No one could come near me. And I went to the hospital. I was there for a week. Um, at the time, it was a very deep, dark depression. And I just didn't feel I could handle any more pain and continue going through. I was being abused at that time by my then husband, and it was just more than I could handle. The arguing, the being yelled at, and then with my own demons with depression and anxiety, I just couldn't handle it. And so I was hospitalized, and I was on close watch for a very long time. That was when I had to take a break from my YouTube and everything. Um, in therapy, we had to focus on what we could do for me to get out of the situation I was in and for me to focus on healing and what was more important. And all I could think about was toys when my parents were going through their divorce. Um, that was when I started playing with Barbies more than when, usually 5 or 6 years old, I would play like one of my cousin's old Barbies, but I had then reached a point by 13 where I had to have something to distract me. So I ended up playing, I had about 3 Barbies and an Elvis doll. He was like a kid. Anyway, I played with them a lot. Still have them, except for Island Fun Barbie. I played with her so much, her hair came out at the top of her head. I mean, like literally it was coming out of her head. Then her neck got too wobbly. Then her legs got too wobbly. So there was nothing I could do to repair her, but I did replace her. So with the more current, over the past 15 years, before then, actually, it's before then. So around 2015 and 16, I had to go through extensive therapy once or even twice in a week. I would go to Toys R Us and I was searching. I was searching, what can I do to focus on healing, to improve my mental and emotional health? What could I do? So I at the time when I was married, I had got some money in my pocket and went to Toys R Us and spent over probably 100 and something. I bought Barbies, I bought clothes, and for them, I just got dolls. And I went home and I played Barbies. I just put everything all out on the couch, and then I ended up in the floor. I played with my dolls. That was what took my mind away from all of the depressive things and stressful things, because playing with my dolls took my mind away from everything. It I was able to just relax and breathe and focus. That's how I got into dolls. When I started buying American Girl dolls, my first one, of course, most of you who watch me and know my videos know is Rebecca. I was happy to get my first one. I didn't like her original outfit. It was the red jacket with the little black collar. Um, I felt her hair was too thin, all of these things. And that time I had done, right before that, I was getting busy, like taking seminars and classes to learn how to make dolls and things like that. Learning to sew and create and design. I was doing everything possible to occupy my mind and to focus on other things in life, to try and improve the quality of my life. And when I got Rebecca, at that time I had started making, I had to make this doll. This was one of my first ones. So I had made this doll, and I had designed the pattern using everything. So she's all hand painted. That's how you would make them. That's how they were. And I used gesso and all that stuff. I have no idea where this fabric come from, but it's custom dyed. And then I made her outfit, and then I did the painted boots and shoes with on fabric, and I designed the dress. And this is synthetic hair extensions, and she's had this hair since God knows back when I made her. And but these were the dolls I was making, and I think she's the only one I have that size. And then I had the one I call Snow White. All of the other ones I've ended up selling so I could pay bills or buy something I needed. So I was trying to be crafty. I was trying to do everything I could to find peace of mind and to develop skills. Come on, come on. So that I can improve the quality of my life. And it started with dolls. With my American Girl doll, I had started a YouTube channel before I got her. And I had a My Twin doll, which actually she's right there, the one I bought years ago. And when I opened that My Twin doll, my very first video I ever recorded and uploaded to YouTube, when I opened that doll, I swear my first thought was, that is the ugliest doll I've ever seen. It looks nothing like me when I was a little girl. Because I sent them the photo of me when I was a little girl, when I was like, probably 9. And God, that doll didn't look like me at all. It was absolutely ugly. I won't ever forget. I was trying to play it off of my expression when I opened her, recording that video. Anyway, the video is there. Go back to 2006. But I have her now. I repainted her myself. And She does look better now. I've actually thought of repainting her again, with my newer techniques that I've learned since 15 years ago and 16. Um, but when I got Rebecca, I thought to myself, American Girl, oh my God. And then I started looking at people's videos 16 years ago on YouTube. They did reviews, and I'm like, they all look alike. This looks boring. So I recorded myself giving Rebecca new hair with synthetic hair extensions. Oh my God, that took a whole world of its own in the American Girl doll world. People were like, oh my God, did you see what she did? They were like, look what Selena did. This woman named Selena on YouTube. She's giving them hair like I never seen, going all in a circle, circle, circle. Next thing I knew, everyone was in the American Girl doll world was going with that trend. They started doing it with their doll. Or they wanted one done. Then when I repainted it, it was like, oh my goodness, people want one done. So that kept my mind and me busy for a while because I was doing American Girl doll makeovers for other people. At that time, you didn't have people on YouTube stalking you and acting crazy as hell. So you didn't have any of the crazy stuff going on like that. That wasn't, YouTube was not that big 16 years ago. And you didn't become YouTube famous. You just subscribed and followed the people that produced content that you liked. And yeah, mine just went from there. But as mine grew back then, you didn't get monetization. You didn't get monetized. It was nothing like that. It was just, YouTube was just a place where you could just try to find other people who liked and shared the same passion that you had. And so I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Apparently, it doesn't understand that. Um, so I was doing makeovers for everyone. Anyone and everyone who wanted one done. Um, just did a small fee to cover shipping back then. I think it was like $65 because I'd have to go and get the hair, get the glue for the dolls and stuff like that. Um, and then send them back, and it was like, wow. But anyway, it still couldn't fix everything. Being occupied mentally and emotionally, focusing on healing, um, I started taking, I would just buy Barbies that I liked. When I say I bought Barbies that I liked or dolls that I liked, it wasn't about something to just put in the box and stare at it. No, the majority of these, they're out of the box. I take them out of the box. I play with their hair. I redress them. I enjoy them because I didn't get them with the intention of just looking at them in their boxes. Now, some of them like that, and then those were extras I had got over time because I did enjoy looking at those, but I had like two or three of the same doll. Um, when I would be invited on trips or when I was married, he would, always want to go to the lake, um, camping, swimming, all of that. And so I said, I want to invite my friend Shirley. Y'all remember Shirley, my old video? She was with me. And that's what we would do. We would have a bag, a duffel bag, and we would have dolls in it. And I mean, at that time, you had Cali Girl Barbie. And so with Cali Girl Barbie, you had all the play set, like the outdoor things, like the tiki bar and all that kind of stuff. We would get our beach Barbies and extra all of them, and we would get them together. That's when I started taking Barbie everywhere. Um, it really helps with my it become more. The more I embraced what I loved, the more unapologetically I was at being myself with my dolls. Because when I was hospitalized for suicide attempts, yes, several, the people who talked about me were never there. They were never there for me. And I mean, even people being related to, um, or even so called alleged friends. Nobody was there for me. Nobody's. So I'm like, why am I going to validate their thoughts and opinions of me because I still play with Barbie dolls and other dolls? Why am I going to let what they think and say validate who I am when they're doing nothing for me? They're not there for me. They're not calling up and saying, "Hey, are you okay? Can I come visit you? Or would you like to go with me here or there?" None of that. And so with family, I remember them asking my mom, "Does she still play with dolls?" My mama said yes. And, they'd be like, "Isn't she too old for dolls now?" And then my mom was like, "Shh." She would do that. She would, "Shh." And when they found out that I had been hospitalized for attempted suicide and things like that, and that I was on medication and that I had to see doctors, um, they just got quiet. They didn't say anything. Um, so that's how my journey started, and it is still current, and that is why dolls are a part of my life. Um, they're even ones around me, like right here in front of me. I have this one. Um, and the reason why I have so many is because each and every one has a difference about her. This one I did body swap recently, but I love the different faces, the different skin tones. Um, I do have a nice wide variety of Barbie dolls in my collection, all different kinds of hair, skin tones, everything. You know, I love hair play. But I think, yes, you know, a doll, most of these are not that expensive. Yeah, it can add up over years, but from marriage experience, things like that, or boyfriends, they bought a lot of my dolls from me. And family, at Christmas, my brother, oh my gosh, my brother used to get me a lot of the jean collector dolls and the outfits, and I loved it. He lived in near the this doll shop, and so it got to where if I was going to leave my home, I would have a little small bag, like a cloth bag, not some paper or plastic bag. I would have a cloth bag, one that I would pick out specifically to put some dolls in to take with me. And every time I got ready to go somewhere, even to visit his friends when I was married and things like that, I would take them with me. I didn't care. I would have to end up opening up my medication box. I'd have to take medicine in front of people. So then it became where I had to be open with the people that were around me because at a certain time, it was time for me to take that medication. So I ended up with a lot of dolls over the past 16 years, and even before then. I never looked at myself as a collector. They just simply built up, you know? But to be all honest, it wasn't just my dolls. My viewing audience, my YouTube audience who watch my content and stayed with me even when I was kooky or weird or, had some crazy issues going on and dealing with emotional or mental stuff, they stuck by me. And a lot of them have still remained faithful and stayed with me. Um, and really gave me the encouragement to be strong and to be persistent and to move forward and to be stronger. Because I realized that I couldn't just be strong for myself. I had to be a better person and to be a stronger person also for my viewing audience. And for those of you who've been with me for so long, for years, it was your encouragement that really kept me going, that really inspired me to be a better person and to understand my illnesses to the point where I would go to the hospital periodically to make sure that we had a proper diagnosis that I could that would be stuck, but also that I could educate myself about and to learn about my illnesses, what triggers, what can I do to calm the triggers and things like that. I knew that I had to be a better and stronger person, not only for myself, but also for my YouTube family, because so many of you have shared your stories with me privately, and you inspired me as well. And you cannot take that kind of openness and kindness for granted. So I felt a sense of strength and responsibility, and then realized that the things that I said and did also affected people who felt a connection with me. And that is why for the past 3 years now, I have been really trying to work hard at becoming um, better, more knowledgeable, but also more in control. Lots and lots of therapy. And with lots and lots of therapy, lots and lots of dolls. But dolls have been my coping mechanism to deal with major depressive disorder, chronic anxiety, PTSD. Um, it has so not been easy. It has been hard as hell. And coming on, doing videos and showing you my techniques and my skills with painting my American Girl dolls. And I'm very grateful to American Girl with the berry, when you're in the berry tier membership, you get discounts and stuff. Um, I'm very grateful to actually, I have to say, Mattel. And then I grew up with Mattel. And then I'm also grateful to Ellen, the owner of VIE, because what she made my dream come true. My dream was to always be a designer with a toy company, and I will always be grateful to her for that. Always. Um, she is an amazing woman. I'm very grateful to her for giving me that opportunity. Her dolls are beautiful, and of course, I have them behind me. I'm looking for Alexis. She's in the pink dress. Oh, okay, I took it to my room. But right over here, we have Elena right there. Um, so with that being said, that's really the core of me, and why I have as many dolls as I have, but also I'm grateful to the people who have viewers like you Some of you have bought me dolls as birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, or just a gift in general. Sent me American Girl dolls, and that helped me have content to repaint and create. Um, I'm just grateful. So, thank you. I thank you for hearing me out and just telling you my behind the scenes. I don't feel good every day. I don't feel happy every day. But I am a work in progress even now with my diagnosis. It is a lifelong, it's a lifelong journey. It's not easy, um, but I'm putting the work into it I'm continuously putting the work into it to try and improve and better myself mentally, in all aspects. So, that's that. And the best way for me to do that is with my therapy and medication treatment. Um, I am preparing, currently getting things in order. Um, I have surgery coming up 3.5 weeks from now. So I will not be, I do not have any intentions of coming on YouTube during that time afterward. For a while, I want to recover, but I don't want to show myself until I'm fully recovered. And I know that I'm going to be on strong pain medication, so that's why I'm trying to take anything that I have now that I need to work on, like repaint or something. I'd rather do it now because I just rather be recovering here afterwards. And of course, my dolls are everywhere, but that is why I have a lot of dolls. Um, that's why I'm actually still here. Um, if it were not for me having dolls to help me cope and deal with life when things become too lifing or too difficult, dolls have really helped me through a lot of my struggles of manic behavior, or what we call mania in the medical world. Um, Playing with my dolls has helped me be able to center myself and not focus on the things that are causing me pain or what have you. It's not easy when you trust someone, and then when I mention trust, I'm referring to someone you end up in a relationship with and whom you end up marrying, and you expect them to be a good husband, and you expose everything about yourself to them, and they accept it, and then you move on, and then you end up getting married and all of those things, and then at the marriage they change. They become mean, abusive, and that is why I've chose to be to myself pretty much. I mean, yes, I have a guy friend, but there are boundaries I'm not ready to cross over into with the relationship. So it's not intimate. There's no intimacy at this time. It's just been, you know, you get what I'm saying? Not crossing certain boundaries and levels. I'm not ready to go into an intimate relationship because I'm still a work in progress. And with that being said, um, with me not being in a relationship to that extent, I'm able to continue focusing on healing mentally and emotionally because there's a lot of damage there. And there are still things I need work on with myself. It's not easy. It's the hardest damn road I have ever had to face. You know, when you have to just face reality and examine yourself and stand face to face with yourself and all the baggage and damage that's there, you have to take time out from everything. So this is why I have not been in any kind of an intimate relationship for 3 years now since I left my last husband. Um, I've just stayed to myself because there are still things about me now that I'm still a work in progress. Um, and in order for me to be the best version of myself that I can be, I have to continue healing. I have to continue making changes in my life and living with mental illness. I have to be careful of the people I will allow in my life or whom I become attached with. And so, with that being said, I, yeah, that's my focus. Right now, I do have the last doll I made over, Caroline Abbott, on eBay, along with a couple other dolls. I do want to be able to get the white bookcases. I was going to ask help from my public, but then it was like, I would rather just take some of my dolls and sell them and use the money to recycle to buy the bookcases and things that I need, but also to downsize my doll collection because I'm keeping what I love and I'm not letting go of what I'm prepared to let go of. It's my moderator. I'm messaging her. Oops. Okay. I have been wanting to take time out to do a video like this because I know that there are so many other viewers that I have whom also have everyone is going through something. Everyone has their own struggle in life. Everyone has their own reality that they have to wake up to every morning. And this is what I'm willing to tell. I don't want to get into being sexually abused or anything like that because that's just too deep and too painful, and I don't want to go to that. But yeah, I was at 19 years old. So it's like I said, I've been living a lifelong struggle with myself. Um, and so when threats or anything like that come around, I take them very seriously. Um, and hopefully anyone else, if you are struggling and you don't have the help that you think you need, please do seek help somewhere. It took me a long time to really just be straight up open and honest with my doctors. I've been 10 years. I've been with my therapist and my psychiatrist, both of them for 10 years now. And when I opened that door to just be at 100% real and honest and face my demons, that's when I started to be able to heal. And it's hard. It's very hard, to sit with someone and to expose yourself completely and entirely. But that's the only way you can heal. That's the only way that it's kind of like you have to strip yourself down to the inner core of all the pain that's there and expose it to your doctors. that was the biggest challenge. And so that was something I had to deal with for a long time. But once I did that, that's when I started healing. Um, I think a big part of my healing has really started taking place since I finally got my own apartment. I was horrified. Oh my God. When I first got my apartment here, because this is all mine, um, I was terrified. I wasn't excited. I was scared as hell because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be living by myself. Well, I have my cat. Yes, I have Dixie. You know, I don't look at her as I mean, no, of course I don't see her as a person. I don't see her as a pet. She is my emotional support. She is my companion. Um, yeah, but yeah, yeah. But so far we've done it. I've been here, got everything done toward the end of December. Started moving in here in January of this year. Still here. I've been selling stuff on eBay so I could pay back money that I borrowed to move here for the deposit on my rent and all of that kind of stuff. Whew, still doing that. Um, the I had really bad panic attacks for months. I was having 4 and 5 panic attacks a week for the past several months. It was horrible. Emotionally, it was absolutely horrible. I was terrified. I had never lived by myself before. But I'm happy. I'm glad I got through it. My doctor was with me every single week. Um, and I'm still a project that is on the road to recovery and healing. And again, like I said, if you're going through any of these situations similar to mine, it's a lifelong journey. It is not easy. So please be easy on yourself and be easy on people that you know who may live with similar circumstances such as mine. Um, a broken mind is not an easy thing to fix or recover from. It takes a long time to heal from traumatic events. And when you have trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, it takes an even longer time to heal because the brain can't process 15 different traumas at one time. Um, yeah, it's a lifelong journey. So, as I continue my journey, because I'm working very diligently for a while now, and I'm trying to break barriers of trauma and find resolution and healing. And it's just simply not it's easier said than done. But it happens, and it is happening. Um, but I just have to be honest with myself. That is something very important, is being honest with yourself and with your doctor. Because if you're not stripped down to just the bare reality, you'll never heal or recover from the things that have happened to you in life. So my heart goes out to anyone who knows and what this is like. But this video was really for me to deal with the aspect of when you have family and friends, and then sometimes you don't have the words to put it in to tell them. Sometimes showing them a video of someone who lives through it and has a lot of dolls and things like that, that is a comfort. That is what the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning, and it makes me smile. Um, my dolls that I have in my bedroom that are on the bookcases in my room make me happy. They're beautiful, they're colorful, and I enjoy redressing them, styling their hair. Now, when I was little, my brother played dolls with me, and he would make them talk. Oh, God, that got on my last nerve. I do not play dolls like that. With me, when I play dolls, I do their hair. I might repaint them, change their clothes, or make them clothes, or sew, or make dolls. It depends on how I feel. But I do not make my dolls talk. And when I see kids, when they play, they make their dolls talk. I never did that. My brother did that, and it got on my last damn nerve playing with him. I love him. But when he would make the dolls talk, I was like, don't do that. No, do it in your head. Don't do it out loud. I would say that to my brother. And he would always take Barbie and put her in aluminum foil. She would be half human and half robot. He was inventing Megan before she even come out. So, anyway, if you are someone that you know and love, if you're dealing with um, suicide thoughts or have ever attempted it, please do seek help. Um, there are hotlines and things that you can call. There is helpline. Please contact someone and get help that you need. I did. I had to do it more than once. Um, but I can say that I have not been in that condition for a long time, for a very long time now. It's because I got help and I seeked help. And sometimes it's hard to admit to yourself when you need help. Um, Finding a solution and finding help is never easy. It's never easy to admit when things are wrong to yourself. I was in denial for years. And when I opened up and just got real with everything, the crying, um, the pain, once I started dealing with the core of the problem, that was when I began to heal. And that is how I've spent years here on YouTube repainting dolls, using my talents as tutorials, and trying to inspire other people or provide my videos as viewing entertainment, because that's what it's about. It's not about me, because it's when I'm painting dolls, that's part of my healing. That's me being artistic and using paint and dolls, and that's part of my healing process. That's how I am able to relax and just get into the zone and deal with depression and anxiety. So my channel isn't about me trying to get attention. It's about me healing from depression and anxiety, suicidal ideation, things like that. Um, yeah. And you know, when people say, "Oh, well, her channel's monetized," honey, trust me. For 1,000 viewers, YouTube, you only get like $2 or $3. So no, I ain't making money on YouTube like that. I promise you. But YouTube isn't even about that for me. This is where I do doll content because my dolls help me with my depression and my anxiety. And playing with my dolls and sharing my love of my dolls, that is how I cope with past traumas and life. God, that feels good. I got it out. There we go. It's out. That felt good. And this is my latest little girl, Aurora. I had to look at all of them. The hair is, I had to wash it to get the curls out. Oh my God, she's pretty. I wish they could make Barbie. Her quality feels better. She's got prettier hands. I wish Barbie had these hands. And anyway, not changing the subject, but and the leg shape, look at that. Oh my God, they're so pretty. Anyway, they need to redo Barbie's, yeah, because this Aurora, I love her. I want Tiana. Tiana looks like Whitney Houston. So, anyway, again, the title of this, it had viewer discretion advised because I'm talking about serious and personal life experience, my journey, why I collect dolls. Well, I don't look at myself as a collector because I play with my dolls. And like I have curlers where I do their hair, the paints from painting. And by the way, I have Moana and I need to get some paint on her face. I want to get the last few dolls I need to repaint. I want to get them done before I have surgery in a few weeks. So when I come on, I'll probably be playing Cindy Ribbit in flight, her CD in flight. I love playing that when I'm going to paint. And it's time for me to do something like that. So I'm going to let you all go. It's time for me to get changed because I have to go do 3 miles of walking. That's very important. Physical activity, moving, exercise. That helps with depression and anxiety. So thank you for understanding and being kind and supportive. Um, that is the biggest thing you can do for someone who struggles with depression and anxiety, or even someone who's been through suicide attempts, such as myself. Um, Support is the best thing you can do to recovery, to help them recover. Don't judge, don't be judgmental. Um, Finding something to get into really helps. So that's how I started with my dolls. Playing with my dolls took me away from all the madness that in my head, the trauma, the pain, reliving the situations all over again inside my own brain. Um, and getting through it. Like I said, you never know what you're going to wake up to. Every day is different for everyone, and we all deal with traumatic experiences differently. But the most important thing that you can do for yourself is to see a doctor. And if you say you can't afford one, then go to your local health clinic to see someone. They have clinics for people that don't have insurance and things like that, where they can see you and they can help you with therapy and medication. But you will have to go through an evaluation. That's just me speaking from personal experience. I do hope that my life struggle experience can also help other people who live with struggles. All of us have something that we're going through. Some of us have more and less than others. But this is my experience. And it's the truth. So, anyway, my surgery has nothing to do with my mental illness. No, it's physical illness. But anyway, thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for your support. Um, I look forward to giving you quality content in due season. But as I said before, this year I'm focusing on my emotional and physical health um, as I continue the journey in life. So thank you, and I wish you all the best. And until next time. So we'll see what happens. Maybe tonight I can go live and have my camera hanging up on this contraption, and we can give Moana some eyebrows because I'm tired of seeing her without eyebrows. So until then, thank you for supporting me, and thank you for giving me a reason to be strong and to continue what I love. Um, thank you. And thank you to my doctors, because my doctors actually do subscribe to my YouTube and to keep an eye on what I how I live my life and what I do. So yes, my therapist watches me. Um, and my therapist encourages me to continue doing what I do with YouTube. She feels that my hobby and what I do here on YouTube, it contributes to my path of healing. Um, so thank you, Miriam. You have been a lifesaver. And to all of you, thank you for enjoying my content. Thank you for liking it. And for those of you who've used my methods and things with painting, I love your work. I'm so proud of you for giving it a chance and doing your own path and creating your own custom repainted American Girl dolls. Snatch them up on eBay. What you do, that's you, and how you do it, that's you. Just be unique and be yourself. Um, yeah. So thank you, everyone. Bye.